Welcome to our weekly Dishing Up Nutrition podcast. I'm co-host Melanie Beasley, and I have been a registered and licensed dietitian for over 30 years. I've had the pleasure of working with a variety of clients in many different areas. Let's see, I've been a dietitian working for the Department of Corrections in a prison, a naval dietitian. I've worked in multiple hospitals as a hospital dietitian, including the VA. And for the past several years, it's been my joy to work at Nutritional Weight and Wellness. I work individually with many, many clients. I also teach nutrition classes along with some strategies to change behavior. So one of my favorite classes is the Menopause Solutions Seminar. It is a 6-hour pre-recorded series. I teach with Cara Carper, who's a certified nutrition specialist, and we have a lot of fun with that class. Because of Cara's age, she represents the perimenopause stage of life, and I represent the menopause stage of life. So, working with clients is one of my favorite things to do, the one-on-one with clients. One of my passions is to improve bone health with my clients who have osteoporosis or osteopenia. Or even like today, I worked with someone, we're trying to prevent bone loss because she is going through a cancer journey and she's on some medication that can thin her bones. So those are some of my passions that I love to do. Britni, what about you?
Hello, everybody. Well, one of my passions is hormones, working with women to balance out their hormones. And because of my own history with hormonal imbalances, I have a special interest in it. And it's just lovely to have a follow-up appointment and hear how much better they're feeling and that their
Yes.
symptoms went away. So rewarding.
That's the best part of our job.
It really is. It is so great. Because we are dietitians and nutritionists, we get so many questions about commonly held beliefs by people who are wanting to lose weight. And we get this, I think, both in our personal lives, and of course, we get this every day at our job.
Absolutely.
And we have questions from people who have metabolic dysfunctions or from people that have a lot of food cravings, or a common question is, what should I eat to lower my cholesterol? Or why am I not losing weight? And that's what we're going to be talking about today is common beliefs about weight loss. And we're going to debunk a few of them and give you some practical ideas about weight loss and how it might look for people.
That's something that my clients will ask me. So let's explore some common beliefs that people have today about weight loss. We often hear that losing 1 to 2 pounds a week is the ideal. That's how much weight you want to lose. I certainly know when I was going through dietetics, that was what we were told was the appropriate amount to expect for weight reduction when someone needed to lose weight would be 1 to 2 pounds. I feel it should be half a pound to a pound personally. Doesn't always make my clients happy with that. But weight loss is not this slide trajectory. It's not you start eating a certain way and we're losing half a pound consistently per week or 1 pound. Sometimes you drop 2, then you have a week with none. Sometimes you go up a half a pound, then you go down 1.5 pounds. So it can be very frustrating if you are sort of a slave to the scale.
Yep, absolutely. And I think it is so important to set up those realistic expectations. And it is completely normal to plateau for a period, or like you said, gain or maybe go up a half a pound or lose more some weeks than others, even though you might be doing the exact same thing.
And really that consistency is the key, not to give up and think, well, this isn't working.
Yep.
Because it's been 2 weeks and I haven't dropped anything.
Yep. Because consistency, and then also realizing if you do lose more than 2 pounds a week, chances are you're losing a lot of muscle with that weight.
And water.
And water. Yeah. And rapid weight loss, we know that the chances of regaining the weight are much higher versus having that slow, steady weight loss, finding a way of eating that is sustainable for you.
And supports the whole body.
Yes.
Not
so
just
important.
that, the eye on the scale.
Yep.
And it's really important that we focus on health and we set people up on a plan. And yes, weight loss, if that's their goal, that's what we will focus on. However, many people, if they come in with a lot of inflammation, they come in with a lot of illness and they've got a lot of disease processes,
Mm-hmm.
maybe some autoimmune, they might drop 10 pounds in a month, but they've lost a lot of inflammation fluid
Yes.
that's been held. And so did they lose some body fat? Sure. But did they lose a lot of water? Yes. Not because we put them on a deprivation, low calorie diet.
That is a very good point to make. And then that 10-pound weight loss each month, it's not going to continue.
No.
No.
And we don't want it to
No,
continue.
definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be losing a lot more. So, what if you consider the health of your body and you ask the question, what do I have to eat if I want to maintain or even gain muscle mass on my body? What should I eat to put on muscle? Because we want to focus on not losing that muscle because muscle is directly related to how fast or slow your metabolism is.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, muscle just has all these other functions that are vitally important. But we don't want to lower the metabolism by the body breaking down muscle tissue for calories because it will get those calories when it needs it if it feels like it's being starved from somewhere.
Yep.
And muscle
That's
is a
where it's going
place
to
it
get it.
draws from. Biochemically, we know that muscle is key to having that active metabolism. So doesn't it make sense to have a nutrition goal that basically says you're going to preserve your health? So the reality is that two people can be the same weight and height, but look very different based on muscle mass. Focusing on gaining muscle instead of weight loss may be a healthier approach for some. We know that by increasing muscle, you increase your metabolism. And to increase muscle, two things are necessary: adequate protein and exercise, specifically resistant weight-bearing training. So I have many clients coming in and saying that they are less worried about the number on the scale. They just want to feel strong and look fit. And I love that approach because I don't have to convince them that that's the approach we should have. So by gaining muscle and reducing body fat, you are becoming really healthier overall. We know that body fat, especially visceral fat, promotes the inflammation. And visceral fat is the fat in your belly that surrounds your organs. Visceral fat is metabolically active and it produces inflammatory compounds and causes systemic inflammation, contributing to things like insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, so many more disease. So you can actually be very thin looking on the outside, but actually have a very obese visceral fat situation on the inside.
Yes. And a lot of people don't think of it that way.
No.
And I have had many, many clients who don't necessarily see the scale move that much, but they're losing inches, they're dropping pant sizes, but they're still frustrated because they're not seeing the scale move.
Yeah.
So I have to talk them through, like what you just mentioned, Melanie, that their body is overall healthier. And then I just ask the question, if your clothes are fitting better, if that was the goal for them, they're feeling better,
Mm-hmm.
does the number on the scale even matter at that point?
No. One of the little tricks I love so that they're not obsessing about the number on the scale is to take a long string, tie it around the thickest part of their middle and mark it with a Sharpie and tuck it away in the drawer. So after about a month, I'll have them pull that string out and put it around their belly and mark it again and see as that string gets thinner and thinner. I mean, men love to say how many belt loops,
Yes.
you
I
know,
hear that
on
a
their
lot.
pants. But a lot of women, we're not wearing those
Yep.
belts or the same belt.
Yes.
So this is an easy way to
Yeah.
see how are you actually losing body fat.
Yeah. It's a great recommendation.
Yeah.
And I would challenge you, if weight loss is a goal of yours, to use that approach that Melanie just mentioned, or taking measurements, because chances are you are going to notice those measurements move faster than the weight on the scale,
And
especially if you're focusing on building muscle.
Yes. And I have clients say they have more energy. They
Mhm.
they use the words, I just feel lighter.
I hear that all the time as well.
Yeah. They don't feel like they're hauling around
Yeah.
a weight that's just dragging them through the
Yeah.
day. So that's kind of the goal. So circling back to the weight loss, and some of the history I think is kind of quirkily interesting. So the goal to lose weight has really been around for a long time. In fact, in 1863, over 150 years ago, an English writer who was not in the health profession, he was not a doctor, and he wrote a letter on corpulence because of his own struggles with his weight. William Banting weighed 202 pounds, standing tall at 5 feet 5 inches. To lose weight, he cut back on carbohydrates such as beer, bread, potatoes, also milk and sugar, and he lost 35 pounds and he wrote a book which became a bestseller. And then also Lulu Hunt Peters, an American physician, popularized the concept of calorie counting for weight loss in her book, Diet and Health. And that was written in 1918. So this has been a struggle for a long time for people.
Mhm.
And the book included a guide to calorie counting. And the approach or theory then was to reduce the number of calories eaten, to increase activity, to burn more calories, and that results in weight loss. Big surprise here, right? Well, it turns out that developed somewhat of an obsession in our culture to be thin, to lose
Yep.
weight. We certainly saw it in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s,
Mhm.
right? Weight loss techniques date back over 150 years, and we have to ask the question, most of these techniques, are they serving us well? Are we a thinner, healthier nation? And what has happened to our overall health? Some of these just don't work because we're not really asking the right question. The question should be, am I healthy?
Yep.
Do I feel healthy? Are the numbers I'm getting from the physician indicating that I'm headed in disease and autoimmune issues? Do I feel robust, strong, healthy? That really should be the question and the takeaway of what we've learned cumulatively over the years.
So focusing more on overall health, wellness, your well-being.
What we're putting in,
Yeah.
is it serving our cells? Is it serving our cardiovascular system?
Yeah.
Because the weight is a secondary effect of getting
Mm.
healthy.
Yes. So true. I hear it all the time. My doctor told me, or I read, if I lose, X amount of pounds, then my blood sugar is going to improve. When really, or whatever the example is,
Yeah.
it's often the opposite effect. The weight loss is happening because you're changing your diet, your lifestyle. If your blood sugars are lowering, that's helping you lose weight. So the focus should be shifted a little bit.
Yes.
And the idea of the calories in, calories out, of course, that idea is still around.
Yes.
You hear it all the
Well,
time.
there's a zillion apps that you can count your
Yes.
calories.
Yes. And the reality is, calories are not created equal. I like to throw this question out to people. Do you think you'd gain weight from eating 100 extra calories of broccoli? No, right?
Right.
Broccoli is just lots of fiber, lots of great nutrients. But do you think you'd gain weight from eating 100 extra calories of bread? Yeah,
Yeah.
chances are you probably will
That's
because
great.
you're increasing your carbohydrates. The bread is probably increasing your blood sugar. So, focusing on quality of food should be the priority. And what I've seen over the years is that people who have yo yo dieted need to start to focus on nourishing their body to be able to
Yes.
stimulate their metabolism again. So, getting that adequate protein in, getting enough vegetables, focusing more on quality over.
And getting the healthy fat in because
Yes.
that's our satiety food. That's the food that makes us feel like I have enough. I am
Yeah.
satisfied.
Yep.
And so I think we were just starving individuals in the low fat eras of the
Without a
70s,
doubt.
80s. We were just hungry because we
Yeah.
did not have that fat
Yeah.
to
We're
settle
just
us
eating
down.
carbs.
Yeah.
It is time for our break, and I want to mention an upcoming cooking class with our culinary educator, Marianne, and she is going to be doing a cooking class on Wednesday, July 17th about healthy burgers and tacos. Sounds delicious.
Yes. Who doesn't
Yeah,
want to have you can always have these food. It's just how
of
you prepare them.
course. Yeah. And she's just a wealth of knowledge about food and
Cooking.
yeah, everything. And I always learn so much from listening to her classes. And then if you are not able to make the live cooking class, which is from 6 to 7:15 p.m. Central Time, you do get the recording for 5 days. Or if you are able to make it live, you can rewatch it another day while you're actually cooking.
Yeah, I love it because you can pause it,
Yeah.
do the thing that Marianne's doing,
Mhm.
start it again.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So, if you are interested, you can visit our website, weightandwellness.com, for more information. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Dishing Up Nutrition. Before we went to break, Brittany was telling us about the great cooking classes that Marianne has put together for us. And if you're interested in any of those cooking classes, you can go to weightandwellness.com or call 651-699-3438. I also mentioned earlier the Menopause Solution 6-week series. So if you're interested in that class as well, it's a wealth of fun information for anything that affects you when you are going through menopause. It's a great class. And again, 651-699-3438.
We have been talking about the different approaches to weight loss historically, and many of the approaches have really been centered around restriction. And I think that the diet culture has taught us that following a diet is all or nothing. And so many of us, myself included, admittedly, have fallen into that cycle of guilt. You eat something that wasn't part of your current diet, then you feel guilty, feel shamed, and then you find yourself saying, screw it. I already messed up. I'm just going to keep eating whatever I want. And that could go on a day, it could go on a week, it could go on a month. And
Well, you don't want to go back
yeah,
to if you were on a
yes.
deprivation diet.
Yeah.
Man, you don't want to go back. So you're like, I may as well eat all the things
Yep.
before I have to go back to that darn diet.
That is such a good point. Because if I go back to that diet, I'm not going to feel satisfied.
And I can never eat these things again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, that whole guilt and shame, it doesn't serve us at all. It makes it really difficult to be successful if you just go back into that cycle. The truth is, eating, it's not all or nothing. It can't be, right?
No.
It's
No.
it's gray. We have to make that choice of what we're choosing to eat, and you need to think of your nutrition as a lifestyle
Yes.
or just a way of life.
And to think when you are quote unquote dieting,
Mhm.
I'm on the program or I'm off the program.
Yeah.
Which really means I'm succeeding or I'm
Yeah.
failing.
Yeah.
So listeners, ask yourself, how many decades have you lived in a state of shame,
Mhm.
condemnation, feeling of failure because you think, am I on the program or off the program? So really we're like pendulums, right? We're
Yeah.
swinging towards
Yep.
some weight reduction and a healthier lifestyle, or are we swinging towards weight gain and inflammation
Mhm.
and disease? We're pendulums. And the
Yep.
more we are swinging in one direction, the healthier we're going to be. But give yourself some grace. You are not going
Yeah.
to be perfect. I'm not perfect. Brittany's not
Nope.
perfect. Certainly, I know all of us we're swinging,
Yep.
but mostly we swing towards health, wellness,
Yep.
because we know too much.
Absolutely. And then the more you do it, it really does just become a way of life and what you do. And it's just how I cook and I feed my family and I don't think about it anymore.
Right.
It just becomes automatic. And I promise you will get there too over
Yeah.
time of doing that. And in switching that verbiage in your head, you're choosing to eat this way to build muscle. We've been talking about that. Or Maybe you have digestive symptoms or migraines, whatever the reason is for choosing to eat a real food diet,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on that instead of telling yourself, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, because that's going to send your brain into that restrictive thinking. And naturally, most people rebel.
Yes, it's how you frame it.
It really is. And going back to that why are you choosing to eat this way? I think is so important to keep that motivation going. And like you said, we're not aiming for perfection.
Mm.
That's not possible.
Yeah. I just did an exercise with a client and she said she'd quote unquote fallen off the plan.
Hmm?
She's just busy traveling and then fun events in the summer. And one of the things that she'll grab is frozen pizzas. So I had her sit down and we worked on a pros list and a cons list. What's the pros of the pizza, right? She went through, it was fast, was easy, it tastes delicious. It reminds her of a free and easy time in high school and college when everybody would just
Mm.
eat pizza
Yeah.
and she wanted to be a part of that. And so then we went through the cons. She said, within 30 minutes, I feel icky, bloated. I'm beating myself up. Why did I do
Mm.
that? It raises my blood sugar, which raises my insulin. It puts on weight. I don't feel well, and my eczema flares. So when she wrote it down, she was able to then frame it differently.
Yeah.
And then we came up with an alternative, which we have on our website of pizza,
Yeah.
that is on our website, a sheet pan pizza or a pizza or something
Hmm.
that we came up with. So she could still have the flavor memory
Yeah.
without all of the cons. And then I had to take a picture of the cons with her phone and make it her screensaver.
What?
Because once we fold the paper and we put it away, or
Yep.
we're done with the app and we close our phones down, we forget.
So true. Out of sight, out of mind. Let's talk about what is wrong or stressful to your body when you restrict calories in some way. If you restrict by eating fewer calories or over exercising or any sort of method that's going to cause that rapid weight loss, like we've talked about, rapid weight loss is going to lead to losing muscle mass.
Yes.
That's a big important factor. And then in regards to that, when you restrict, what happens is your metabolism, your body has to adapt to run on fewer calories. So your metabolism is going to slow down. And then if you regain weight, you're going to end up with more body fat than
Yeah.
when you originally, before you lost weight, because you've lost that muscle mass from that rapid weight loss.
And let's say you dropped weight rapidly, and like you said, Brittany, you've lost muscle mass and body fat.
Mm-hmm.
And then now when you start eating to gain the weight and you start gaining the weight back, chances are it's not a bunch of protein and broccoli and
Exactly.
berries. So now you're gaining body fat. So now you're down that much more of your metabolism by losing muscle, and you're that much more body fat.
Yep.
The transformation in your body is not what we're looking for.
Mhm.
And you're gaining visceral fat, that fat around the organs. But the other thing is when you drop weight rapidly and you drop a bunch of body fat rapidly on a deprivation diet, body fat stores toxins. And so that rapid weight loss means you have a rapid dumping into your system of toxins. So this is another reason we want a slow, methodical,
Yeah.
healthy way of eating, preserving that muscle, taking care of bones and systems by nourishing properly and not overburdening the body with too much body fat toxin at once.
Yeah, that's scary to think about.
Yeah.
All
People
those
sometimes
tox-
get really sick
They do.
after one of
Yeah.
these fast drop
Yeah, it's true.
diets.
And chances are your body is not able to keep up with efficiently detoxifying all that. Yeah. And you may not remember, but the original question that we talked about is losing 1 to 2 pounds safe and effective. And I think what the conclusion we came to is yes, losing 1 to 2 pounds could be safe and effective. But I think the reality is it might be less than that. Like you
Mhm.
said, it might be a half a pound a week. And chances are it's going to vary from week to week. And you just need to look at that overall trend Is it going down? Is it trending down? Or, like we've been talking about, maybe you focus less on the number in the scale. Maybe you focus more on building muscle or,
Lab changes.
oh, yeah, whatever other health goals that you might have. And I think that sometimes people can, in my experience, be more successful if their goal is something other than that number on the scale.
Yes. And, when people are asking how much longer before I lose this much weight or how long do you think it's going
Yeah,
to take me? Oh, I always cringe at that question because it sounds to me like there's an end point to this way of eating.
I love that point. Yeah.
So there really is no end point.
Mm-hmm.
Just sit back, relax, let the magic happen as you start eating real food, nourishing the body, not overeating too many carbohydrates, and movement, exercise. Motion is lotion.
Yeah,
The
it is
more we
so
move, the
important.
better we will feel, the better our systems can work. Motion is lotion.
Yeah.
So we've got to keep moving.
And focusing on that quality of food really is so important. I want to share this new study that just came out, literally in May 2024. And the title is The Effects of Dietary Macronutrient Composition on Resting Energy Expenditure. And this was a systematic review. And I want to set the stage in this. Metabolic rate is the energy that we need just for our body to function. And when you lose weight because your body is getting smaller, your metabolic rate can drop
Yeah.
because of that. And what this study showed is that if you eat a high carb diet and lower fat, the metabolic rate dropped a lot
Wow.
during weight loss. Whereas those individuals that ate more fat and lower carbohydrates, their metabolic rate maintained during weight loss. So then it makes it way easier to actually maintain that weight loss because their metabolism is staying the same. It's not
Mhm.
lowering. And this goes back to just the negative effects of eating too many carbohydrates.
When we're saying carbohydrate, we're not talking about no carbohydrate
No, not at all.
because we start demonizing things like berries and apples and melons. And I've not known that tribe of obese berry eaters. It's just not a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's not the real food that's getting us here. It's the
Yes.
lack of protein and it's the processed foods.
Yeah. When we are saying lower carbohydrate, we're talking about really eliminating or limiting those processed carbohydrates. That's
Right.
what we're talking about.
Right.
Getting your carbohydrates from real food instead.
So if you have been on every weight loss plan out there, you haven't had success, you don't feel happy with the results, you feel like you're in that deprivation brain and mindset from constantly restricting or eliminating certain foods. I'm going to give a shout out to our class, Nutrition for Weight Loss. It's been around a long time because it's
Mhm.
very successful, and people are amazed at how much they can eat
Yeah.
and achieve their goals.
Yeah.
It's the most refreshing way of eating. If you are someone that you're like, I'm on the shame game, I've been in the
Yep.
deprivation brain, I just can't face another quote unquote diet, I would look into Nutrition for Weight Loss. It's real food. You get to eat. You're not overly restricted. Many of our clients say, I just can't eat that much food. So
Yeah, you feel satiated. And then, more importantly, you feel really good. Your energy goes up.
your skin is amazing.
Yes. If you
The
have
hair gets thicker.
yeah, your digestive symptoms might go away. I mean, the list goes
The
on
hot
and on of
flashing.
all the benefits.
All of it. And again, it's what we circle back to and say that when you start addressing what the body needs and you
Mhm.
start nourishing the body, it all falls into place. It's
Yes.
not just the weight reduction, it's all of it. It's a beautiful thing to stand in front of a class and watch them transform over the
Yeah.
12 weeks. So that Nutrition for Weight Loss Foundations is fantastic. And then there's a follow-up class, which is more supportive.
Mhm.
And that is the ongoing support and education. So we don't just drop you.
Yeah,
At the end, that support continues on and on and on.
and there's always the option to set up an individual appointment with one of the dietitians if the classes don't work in your schedule.
So here's a little challenge. For the next 3 weeks, stop thinking weight loss and start thinking health. Here's a way to measure success. Try on a tight fitting outfit, reflect, put it away for 3 weeks. Try it on again after you've been eating real food in balance, protein, vegetables, some berries, and healthy fat. And ask yourself, how do I look? How do I feel? Do I have that
Mhm.
lighter feeling that we
Yeah.
always hear? Do I feel happier? Do I feel energized? Is this something I can live with the rest of my life instead of thinking, when is the end point?
Yep.
So you know you're doing well when you can look in the mirror and feel proud, and you can feel healthy, and you can feel like this is sustainable instead of feeling shame and discouragement
Mhm.
and don't even want to look in a mirror. So that's what we're encouraging here is health. We're called nutritional weight and wellness. I've always thought we need to be nutritional wellness and weight, but that's what we're about. And
Yeah.
that's what we encourage. And I think that's the sustainable way to live your life and be the body weight that you want to be and
Mhm.
have the mental mindset that's healthy
Yep.
and have a longevity of life in a healthy way. We want to preserve muscle. We want to support bone health as we age, and that's the way to do it. Our goal at Nutritional Weight and Wellness is to help each and every person experience better health through eating real food. It's a simple yet powerful message. Eating real food is life-changing. Thank you for joining us today.